Welcome, Ryan. Have a seat.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Ryan, tell me about yourself.
Yeah, I'm a sophomore at UVU. I'm currently studying business management. I've been a sales rep for a company called United for the last 2 years. I've also helped in the training aspect there. So I help train new recruits, things like that. I like the company because of the leadership opportunities, as well as their big focus on family, which is something that's super important to me.
Great, awesome. So what do you feel you have to offer above the average employee when it comes to accomplishing your daily responsibilities and goals? Can you share a specific example?
Yeah, sure. So I'm a pretty well-rounded person. I have a lot of diverse strengths. Like I said, my past job experience and training has helped me complete large tasks efficiently and on time, and that's something that I think I bring to the table that I would help here on your team as well, helping solve problems.
Excellent. What was the most useful criticism you ever received from an immediate supervisor? How did you embrace this feedback and achieve a positive outcome?
Yeah, so I think one thing that a past manager helped me understand was to include everyone in a team or in a group. Instead of giving all the responsibilities to the 2 or 3 people that I know can perform well, spreading them out and digging to find people's skill sets, and then spreading out the workload, which helps, like I said, lighten the workload on everyone, as well as just helps the whole team be a little bit more efficient.
Tell me about a time when you didn't agree with a corporate strategy or initiative. What was the strategy? Why didn't you agree with it? And what did you do?
Yeah, so when I was working with United, they were trying to standardize the hours that we worked, which was a little bit different from what we had been doing. And it was an interesting situation because I understood why they were trying to do that, is it was kind of a blanket fix to try to help some of the newer reps kind of better understand what we were doing. But it was also hurting some of the more experienced reps because it was changing their daily schedule. So what I did, I talked to the manager, and he and I came to an agreement, as well as some of the other more experienced reps, to stick to the thing that was working for us, as well as helping the new reps stick to the schedule as well.
Great. So describe a time when you elevated the level of value you brought to a customer over time. How did you accomplish this?
Yeah, so one thing with sales is kind of hard. A lot of people have something in their mind that salespeople are kind of slimy or tricky. And so in sales, I feel like that's something that we're always working kind of against. And so one time I had a customer when I was selling alarm systems who had a problem and reached out to me, and we were able to get it resolved. And she actually told me after that the reason she was willing to reach out to me is because I had built a little bit more rapport than some people she'd worked with in the past. And so it worked out because I was actually the only person that could have solved that problem, but she was about to not call and talk to me because she wasn't sure if that was something that I could take care of. But because of the relationship that we built, she was comfortable doing that.
Okay. Can you recall a time when you were less than pleased with your performance? What did you do about it?
So when I was working with United, they tried to standardize the sales pitch that we had, which I tried to adopt, and it then made my production actually go down. But instead of putting the blame on them, I just took responsibility for it, and then went over the pitch, practiced it, wrote it down, figured out the parts that worked for me, adopted the parts that worked, and kind of pushed aside the parts that didn't. And that helped me kind of create a pitch that was what they wanted, but that also helped me and kind of suited my strengths as a rep.
Right. Describe your level of competitiveness. Tell me about a specific situation where your competitiveness helped you achieve better results than your peers.
Yeah, so during my last job, there was an incentive. I actually don't remember what the prize was even, but they basically paired us with another rep in the company, so we were in teams of 2, and then those teams of 2 were set against each other. And I liked this competition because it wasn't just one rep versus another, but working as a team helped my competitive nature want us both to succeed instead of wishing failure upon the other people. It was more a team effort to kind of help everyone work more efficiently, as well as help, if your partner was struggling, help them figure out what they needed to do to get better as well.
Okay. Think of an example when one of your customers was not pleased with something you or your team did. What was the situation, and how did you recover?
In my last job, there was a customer who wasn't very happy. One of the things that we pushed really hard was transparency, both transparency from the company to the employees, but especially from the sales reps to the customers. And this customer specifically felt like she hadn't been dealt with fully honestly, And so we actually went back with the rep to her house and spoke with her, and she still wanted the product. She didn't have any problems with that. She actually didn't have any problems with the contract either, which was the problem there. But the problem was the rep hadn't told her about it or wasn't perfectly clear. And so in clearing that up, we were able to help her retain that desire she had for the product, but also work through that issue that she had with not knowing exactly how the contract worked.
Okay. Give an example of a time when you successfully persuaded your peers to change their minds and follow your recommendations. What was the specific situation and result?
Yeah, sure. One time, so in my last job, I was developing a new training, a training course, a new way to train the new reps. And to do so, I needed the data from the last year of sales to be able to kind of talk to some of the best reps and figure out what they were doing and how they were trained, to figure out the best way to talk to or to train the new reps. And at first the manager didn't understand that request, why I needed the data, but then in explaining the pros and cons of the new system, I was able to kind of help him understand why I needed it and then go forward and do that.
Okay. Share a time when you were able to directly attribute your probing skills to solve a problem with a difficult customer.
Yeah. One thing I've learned about objections and problems in sales is that a lot of times the surface concern isn't the actual concern. And so with one customer that I was working with when I sold alarm systems, she had a concern of wanting to put more cameras on her house than she needed, even though we had already covered those areas with other cameras. But in talking with her, I realized that wasn't the actual problem. The problem was actually the monthly price of the system. So I isolated her concern by saying, okay, is the price the only concern that you have? And she said, yes, that's actually the only concern that I have. So then I said, if I changed it to, I think it was $60 a month, would we be able to go forward? And so I simultaneously resolved her concern and closed, which helped me because I was able to get a feel for where she was at.
Okay. Tell me about a time when you identified a new, unusual, or different approach from addressing a problem or task. How did you come to the situation? What was the outcome?
Yeah, so in that, I was actually speaking about this a few minutes ago when I was developing that new program to help new reps. We felt like we were repeating ourselves a lot and telling new guys the same thing every day and getting lots of texts, questions, and things like that. So what we did, I worked with another rep there, and we created a program where the new reps would always come in on Fridays and we'd onboard them, and then the following week we do what we call the boot camp, where all of the new reps are together so that we didn't have to repeat ourselves. It just made us more efficient. And then we were all speaking the same language because all the reps were there in the room together and they all understood, and then they were able to learn as a team and ask questions as a team.
Okay. Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, of course. What type of projects are you guys looking to hire someone on for exactly? And if you haven't, do you have any examples that I can maybe look at?
Yeah, I do.
Perfect. And I just want to reiterate how excited I am and grateful I am that you took some time to come and sit down with me. I'm super excited to learn more about the company, and I've really appreciated this, and I know that the skills that I have, especially in the training aspect of sales, will help the company grow and be a little bit more efficient.
Great.
Thank you.